let's go to the NBA, as I said. And Rob Parker, I know you don't like the brother because he's light-skinned, but did you happen to see Trey Young last night?
Bravo. Congratulations. Awesome. What do you have, 50? Dropped to 5-0. Very nice. Very impressive.
I was watching the game. We had it on, I had it on during our show, and then afterwards I watched it. It wasn't finished yet. The brother dropped 50 points, 8 dimes, 8 for 15 from Trey, 3-point line. Hit one from the logo. Did you see that highlight?
I did. I saw the highlights. I didn't see the
logo.
Game.
It was crazy. Inside the logo. Almost made Andre Iguodala, the great defender, put him on skates, nearly made him fall. Jimmy Butler couldn't do nothing with it. And Miami is a very good defensive team and a very good team in general. They're in a little bit of a slump. But it was a big win for Atlanta. And afterwards, Trae Young talked some trash. Now, he and Jimmy Butler had gotten into it before, weeks ago, when Atlanta looked like they were on the verge of beating Miami. And they were in the final minute, and they had a 6-point lead, and Trae Young was like, it's over. All right? And he said that in a celebration. And the Heat came back, tied the game, forced it into overtime. And then Jimmy Butler took a jab at Trae on Instagram, posting, this man, Trae Young, is a teller of the future. He was right. Game was over. All right.
Nice.
So after last night, Trae Young fires back at Butler after the win and says, FYI, Jimmy Butler was right. I can see the future. I saw tonight happening a while ago. So nice little back and forth. And I love it. I'm totally fine with it. This is a game, Rob. People challenge you. You got to back it up. And I think it's all in some good fun, too. I think it enhances the competitiveness of the game. I got no problem with Trae having that type of swagger where he's talking a little junk after dropping 50.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I agree with that. I guess if my team only won 15 or 16 games all year, what Jimmy Butler says or thinks wouldn't matter to me. They got the W. It's about getting wins. I think I'll be more focused on how can I make my team better and start winning, because that's what it's about. But it's not the end of the world. So I don't want to make it like I think it's the end of the world and Trae Young will never be a winner because he was worried about or some end of the world scenario.
Rob G wants you to say that.
I'm not doing that.
You know that. He's probably whispering in your ear right now. Go at him. Go at him. He's a punk. I know he's whispering that in your ear.
No, I'll say it out loud. He's a punk. Go at him, Rob.
So look at you.
Just do it.
Why are you hating, Rob G?
How am I hating?
You just called him a punk.
That's not really hating, though. That's
what's wrong with
factual.
what he did? What's wrong with what he did?
What's wrong is that his team sucks. So if your team is that bad, you don't have the right to talk trash to anybody else.
I'm going to disprove what you said 2 ways. Number one, the Atlanta Hawks are actually beginning to come together. They've won 8 out of their last 17. Now, I know that's not great. That's
8 out of 17.
But hold on. For a team that's 16-41, they've now won 8 out of their last 17. They're 8-9 in the last 17 games. Trae missed 2 of those games, but they're 7-8 in the games he played. They beaten the Clippers. They beaten the Sixers. Last night, they beat the Heat. And in those games, Trae Young averaged 33 points, 11 assists, and shot like outlandishly from 3-point land. And here's the other thing about Trae. He is 11th in the league in PER, player efficiency rating. So for all those that think, oh, he's just putting up numbers on a bad team, no. His numbers are efficient. His numbers are legitimate. 1, the PER shows that. And 2, they're starting to win at a clip that's good for a team that's that young and doesn't have that much talent.
I'll wait to see.
Or at least that's a lot of young talent.
I can't believe that Chris went out of his way to defend a team that is one game back of the more about New York Knicks. And
It's
only
a process,
and
Rob.
only 2 games ahead of the Cavs, who just had a mutiny
Yes,
and had
with
their
their
coach get
Are
fired.
the Cavs trending upward?
They-
Are the Knicks trending upward?
Hey, you
No.
know what? The Cavs have also won 1 game in a row.
Well,
So let's put it that way.
I'll
You
just-
didn't hear a word. Look. You're gonna tell me it's not impressive that they've gone 8-9 in the last month and a half. That's 5 weeks. That's not impressive for a team like the Hawks.
No, because they only have 16 wins on the season.
Rod G, they're supposed to come out of nowhere and get all these young players and all of a sudden be a playoff team? Who does that?
I feel like we're getting off.
LeBron.
We're getting off topic.
No, we're not getting off topic because this is my point. There's a honeymoon period for young players. Nobody killed Karl Anthony Towns early in his career, first 2-3 years when he wasn't making the playoffs. Nobody killed Anthony Davis
but were
early
they
when he
talking
wasn't.
trash
Let
about
me
it?
finish. Nobody killed AD. Nobody killed Kyrie. Kyrie still was making all-star teams even though Cleveland was horrible. Your first few years, LeBron didn't make the playoffs his first year. We don't expect you to turn the team around immediately. We expect you to show that you as an individual can ball in this league. Trae is doing that. He's in his honeymoon period. Now, 3 years from now, if they're 16-41, 2 years even, it's not going to mean as much, and we're going to start to say, just a numbers guy. But in your second year with a young squad, stop it. This is impressive.
I'm not that
like
impressed.
A mic drop.
Yeah, no, I'm just not that impressed. I got it. They're playing better, Chris. It's the NBA. You're not going to lose every game, and they are playing better.
Every game.
No, I'm just saying, like even with his talent, where they were was ridiculous as how poorly they were playing to start the year. So I'm not surprised that they started to win some games because they were on a horrific pace early on before these last, 17 that you're talking about. So I'm just
Minnesota with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins has 16 wins too.
Well, we've seen that. I mean, that's another franchise that's in trouble because you just wonder about the numbers. How are they good numbers or hollow numbers? And I know he's out now, right? Isn't
Towns is out?
Towns is out for what?
A few weeks.
Few weeks.
I think it'll be a few weeks. We'll see.
But I'm just saying you would expect it to be
even
better
with
with
him there,
those.
they were struggling.
No, they should be better. Something's wrong there. That's all.
You do agree with me, Rob, and Rob G hadn't been out there in the weeds like we have, you know. You understand what I'm saying. With young players, you give them a little honeymoon period. Where, you know, do you expect, you know, Trey Young to immediately turn the Hawks or any team around for that matter?
Yeah, it's different. I think for Rob G, he's just not a trash talker. He doesn't like the idea that you could be that you could know that
could have fooled me.
No, that you could be like have 16
future
wins.
future Laker.
Don't get mad because they all became future Lakers, Chris.
Who else?
Did Russ become a future Laker?
He's going to wait till he's 41.
Paul George become a future Laker?
Wait till he's 30. We don't want him no more. When Russell Westbrook's 40
Yeah, you don't
years
want
old.
him anymore. But I got wings from you. Was that the bet or was it LeBron? You thought was a slam dunk?
No, it was the Kawhi.
Not LeBron. Kawhi.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
That was the one that hurt the most.
He is a trash talker extraordinaire.
you can trash
to
talk.
be husky.
Oh,
He be
wow.
talking trash. Or should I say portly?
But you can talk trash if you're backing it up, and they're not backing
Trey
anything
ain't
up.
backing it up.
No.
30 points and 10 dimes a night. He
No.
ain't backing it up.
No.
Was LeBron backing it up as a rookie?
Were they winning more than 16 games?
They weren't in the playoffs,
But
in
they
the
won
East.
more than 16 games?
Did you not hear what I said? They are 8-9 in the last 5 weeks. Is that not impressive?
So if they end the year with less than 25 wins, you're saying it's okay to talk trash because at least you got numbers?
Yeah, because you're young. I don't expect you. I mean, it's very few players. I mean, really only the legends, and even some of them didn't do it immediately. Very few players turn a team around from day one. Trae Young should be a junior in college.
That's fine. He can.
And you expect him to have the Hawks in the playoffs?
No, I'm saying that he's playing fine, whatever. But if your team's not winning, you shouldn't talk. You shouldn't be puffing up your chest. Well, I got 50, but my team sucks. You shouldn't be saying anything.
He don't think they suck. And they don't over the last 5, 6 weeks.
You've been hanging out with Rashad Phillips too much is the problem.
No,
Chris.
I'm dropping knowledge. I'm dropping jewels. Not jewels, jewels. I can't believe you're talking all that trash in your portly self.
Look at this. Uh-oh.
I think portly is more complimentary than husky. Right?
Let's get Lillian on line one.
I'm about to take away Chris's hair dye immediately.
You guys are about to fight.
Him trying to hit below. What hair dye?
Wow.
This is au natural, baby. What you talking about? Trey Young is ball. Anybody disagree with that? Why does Jimmy Butler get to talk trash?
Nah, Jimmy Butler hasn't won anything.
Right?
No, I get that.
He's been viewed as a team record. He's not always the right, but
he's been in the league longer and has had more success. So I get that. But Trae Young, as I said to you earlier, I don't have a big problem with it. It's just that you would just hope that it was about getting that team. And you're right, it's going to take some time to get a young team together. I just thought early on it was pretty bad at where they were early on. Despite his success, like he was putting up numbers, Chris, even before that. He started off the year, right? The first 10, 11 games, he was awesome. And it was weird that they weren't winning. It was surprising at how poorly they played despite him.
I wasn't surprised early on.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they're young.
I know, but he was balling big time.
To be a sophomore in college.
So Cam Reddish, where's he?
He's actually started to play fairly well himself. He's with Atlanta.
No, I know, but I'm saying – as far as I haven't heard his name that much this year. Has he started to?
I think Rashad, our buddy Rashad, didn't he say he was like the best player in the draft? Rob G,
right.
Didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did.
Let's just say he hasn't been that.
Right.
But he has come on and actually played well, and he's kind of found himself, over the last few weeks. So, he could have a bright future. You got John Collins. I actually think the Hawks do have a nice little future, and Trae Young is something, man.
So who defends the Hawks more, Chris? You or Rashad Phillips? I'm just trying to get. Okay.
This is my first time actually defending him. You know that. So Cam, to your point, Rob,
yes.
He's averaging 9 points and almost 4 rebounds a game.
Okay, yeah. I'm just saying, I hear the names. I always go by that, like when you hear people talk about certain players. You can't watch everything unless you know that's your expertise. Like with you, basketball is your expertise. Just like I, if you ask me some baseball questions, I'm watching a lot more games than you are. You're watching more basketball, and I always go by what like the names you're hearing out there, and you really haven't heard much from Cam.
Cam's been better. Like I said, he seems to be getting more acclimated. He's averaged 12 points over the last 5 or 6 games. Has 16 the last 2 games. So he's starting to come around, and like I said, they got some talent elsewhere, really like, John Collins, so I think their future is bright. Kevin Huerter, but Trae is the real deal, and the fact that they're starting to win, I like it. So let's see what you guys think. Do you not like Trae? Is he too young, too early, too many L's to be talking trash? 877-99 on Fox.
It's great.
Let's see what folks think.
Yeah, we got some people from Georgia and Atlanta chiming in along with the masses. So let's start with Lon in Georgia. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Lon?
Hey, man. How y'all doing, man? I enjoy y'all, man, while I'm on the road. I'm in my truck riding, and I enjoy listening to y'all while I'm on the road. Y'all get me through the night.
Thank you, bud. We appreciate you.
Thank you, my man.
Yeah. I just want to say, man, he just calm down, Trey. You know what I mean? You had your little 50 point night. Okay. Butler going to come back and bust your head the next game. So just calm down. Get the team together. You the point guard. You're supposed to be winning the show. Not scoring all the points. So just get the team together, and then you can win.
Dang, a little bit of local hate there.
Yeah, Lon is on it. All right, Lon,
like
we appreciate
the Hawks
it.
got some type of history. Come on, man.
They got Dominique
Y'all
Wilkins.
need to be happy y'all got Trae. They second round and out every single year.
Except for once, right?
In their good years.
Didn't they get to the Eastern Conference Finals once against Boston? One time.
That's a good question.
Chris, I think once. I know most of the time it was second round.
Know.
No? Rob G, check that out. I thought
that
they made it one time to the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston, the Hawks. Matthew in Vegas, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. That's my memory. I don't know for sure, but check it out. Thank you. What's up, Matthew?
Hey, I'm calling from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I just wanted to say I liked him puffing out his chest. I liked him more in like the late 90s and early 2000s when everybody was kind of at each other. Now I feel like everybody's too like lovey-dovey, and like the league kind of needs that like grittiness, like competitiveness.
Hey, Matthew.
There you have it. He's the throwback.
I'll agree with that, Matthew. Just think about this. I was just in Chicago for the All-Star game, and I was talking to some of the younger writers and just having a conversation. And to your point, I said, can you imagine, and Chris, you know this too, can you imagine if they froze out some star player in today's time?
It could have been not the Trae Young's Michael Jordan,
but you know what I'm saying.
But it
like,
could have been him, right? Hot young player, fans vote you in, numbers,
and people and the veterans are like, dude, you haven't earned that,
right?
And they would have freeze him out and not pass. It would be World War III.
Right?
Am I right?
No question. That ain't happening today. You're right, and you were right, Rob. They did back in 2015. Remember they had the great year. They won 60 games.
Oh, that's right.
They lost to the Cavs. The Cavs, LeBron swept them.
I knew there was one time to the conference finals.
Even with Dominique, they never got.
It was always the second round. Yeah. Okay. I knew there was one time. Jeff in Virginia, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Jeff?
I knew there was something odd about Chris's hair on TV.
Oh, wow.
Rob G starting rumors. This is au natural, baby. Don't hate.
Let me say this about the Hawks, man. They got DeAndre Hunter like the 4th or 5th pick, and he won the national championship with UVA last year. They got Cam Reddish.
Yep.
Trey Young's taken away from the young development of these guys shooting all these shots. I mean, they got two guys there that DeAndre Hunter was compared to Kawhi Leonard, but far more refined in shooting coming out of college than Kawhi was. So he's taken away from the younger guys on the team.
You saw last night, Trey fed DeAndre for a late 3 that was huge. You remember that last night? Yeah. So he's passing the ball.
All right, that's interesting take though with the other younger guys there. That's interesting. I that's not bad. It sounds like he watches the Hawks, Chris, which is cool. All right, Charles in Atlanta. I'm sure he watches the Hawks too. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Charles?
Hey, what's up, fellas, man? Fire show, man. Whenever you two link up, man, I'm always paying attention to you guys.
Man, we appreciate
every night,
that.
Baby.
That's right, 7 to 10 Eastern down in Atlanta.
Yes, sir. I mean, I have no problem with it, man. I mean, at this point, you have to get yourself up, when you're not going to make the playoffs. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but small guards in NBA history have not really improved their team or carried their team that much without help. I mean, I personally blame the coach for not really developing this young talent. And don't forget, the Collins missed the first, 25 games.
Right.
I mean, Trey is nothing but 6'1", about 160.
Right.
Most point guards that small don't really carry a team without much skill help. And just like the caller said before about Hunter, I agree. But Trey Young does pass it, but those guys don't really create like they, like Trey Young can, and that's why they suffer.
Well, like I said, last night, Trey, late in the game, Trey penetrated and found DeAndre Hunter for an open 3 that Hunter dropped or drained, so there was a big play and they worked together. You're right, though. Look, historically, Rob, and you know this, only 2 small point guards have led their teams to championships.
Isaiah Thomas
and Steph Curry. That's it. So even the great Allen Iverson never won a championship.
They got to the finals once. They won game 1 in L.A., and that was it.
And, outside of that 1 year, I mean, they won some playoff series. But, he didn't have a ton of playoff success outside of that 1 year when they did get to the finals.
And they were in Denver. They had a nice squad, but nothing ever happened.
Yep, him and Melo. Now, it may change over the next several years because of the importance of the three-point ball now. But like I said, he's young. He is small. I'm not holding the team's record against him just yet. Eventually I will if they don't start winning more games.
No doubt. Let's squeeze in. Got time for Kevin in Texas. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Kev?
What's good, fellas? How y'all doing?
Doing great,
man. How are you?
Doing good. Appreciate it, man. I just wanted to call, being a former collegiate basketball player and a point guard, and much less anybody that has any competitive spirit, you got to go ahead and say something when somebody calls you out by name on Twitter. Granted, Trey Young did say something at first, and maybe he was just trying to hype his team up and get them ready for the game. But when Jimmy Butler, who I love as well, calls you out online, and then you come back and you drop 50 and you get the W, you have every right to say something.
There you go.
All right.
I'm with it.
That's fair.
I'm with it. Yep. I'm with it.
I said it's not the end of the world, so
Right.
I'm not going to get bent out of shape over it. All right. That was a spirited. A lot of guys who keep up with the Hawks chiming in, so that was good.
I think the Hawks' future is fairly bright. I'm not saying they have the makings of a championship team by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, they got some great, really good young talent. It's built around Trae, but, you know, the caller mentioned DeAndre Hunter. They got some young talent that could help them out. All right.